Magic is coming to Broadway in the form of amazing illusions and sleight of hand magic. CBS News contributor Jamie Wack sat down with one of the Illusionists, Darcy Oake, to talk about his craft. He even gave us a small taste of the show.
The Illusionists, Magic of the Holidays, is the fourth incarnation of the Illusionist productions that have come to Broadway and been big hits. It's a family-friendly show, so if you're in New York looking for something to do, you can see some of the best practitioners of magic working in the business today. One of them is here with us today, Darcy Oake. Darcy, the Illusionists, Magic of the Holidays, running right now through December 30th on Broadway. You've performed in venues all over the world. What's different about performing illusions on Broadway?
It's, Broadway's the pinnacle for any artist, striving to push their craft forward and to be, a magician spends, their entire life working on the art form and the craft, essentially to hide their skill instead of display it. Whereas, a singer will go out there and start singing. You can tell they've dedicated their lives to becoming the best singer, but a magician will almost do the opposite, where it's like you practice so much so what you're working on is never seen in terms of the methods and the secrecy behind it. So you practice to make it all just look normal, and you spend so much time working on something that's never actually seen, or in terms of that, and it's it's amazing to get it to this level and to be performing on Broadway, whereas typically in the past Magic's never been kind of considered one of those very respected art forms. It's sort of seen as old school, and a guy in a top hat with a rabbit in a hat. And so to be part of this show, which is sort of on the cutting edge of magic and illusion, and to be on Broadway, I think it really drives the craft forward, and it's amazing to be here.
Who inspired you? How did you take it from, as you say, every kid has a fascination with magic, maybe learns a card trick from an uncle and gets excited about it. What took you to that next level, knowing this was going to be your life?
It's tough to pinpoint exactly one moment, but I saw a magic trick when I was really young, and immediately that feeling of being fooled, I was like, I have to be able to do this to other people. And then from there, I saw an old Siegfried and Roy TV special where he was floating around the theater, and I remember watching that as a kid thinking, this is impossible. How is this happening? There's a live audience there, people are seeing it, they're seeing what I'm seeing. And it was just seeing people being fooled and being fooled myself, that I was like, I have to do this. And it was just a never-ending journey after that.
You really took off as a magician when you appeared in 2014 on Britain's Got Talent. Even Simon Cowell said that we were seeing the beginning of a star with that. What was that experience like for you, and how quickly did that change opportunities for you? Yeah,
that was such a crazy experience, and a time in my life that literally I'll never forget. It was one of those things where I'd heard horror stories of people going on these Got Talent shows and being buzzed off, or them presenting it in a way that made them look hokey, and real working pros too that went on there thinking it was going to be something that it ended up really being the opposite of. So I was very, very skeptical before I went and did that. In fact, I said I didn't want to do it, and they had asked me to do it, and I said no for several months, and they started saying all the right things, like they knew my material. So I was like, oh, okay, they're not just like cattle calling me to go do it. So eventually I agreed to do it, and looking back on it now, thinking that I had said no for that long, and what it did for me after it happened was life-changing. So it's pretty funny looking back at it, but the hardest part for me was the very first audition we taped in February, and it didn't come out until June. So I was there obviously and saw the response that it had, and I just had to sit there and keep my mouth shut until June, and then it came out. When it went online, it changed the game for me, and it was just, if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be here right now. And having a guy like Simon Cowell say those comments really, gives you kind of the stamp of approval, and people really started to take me seriously after that, and it was really a never-ending snowball effect after that, which is sort of what led me here.
To Broadway.
Yeah.
In Great Britain, the response was so big it led to a pretty incredible performance opportunity that I have to point out. You performed at Queen Elizabeth's 90th birthday for a private dinner for the royal family. Yeah. What in the world was that gig like?
It was so surreal, because it was at Windsor Castle, which is where they actually live. And just the dynamic in there and the vibe is very this is so crazy. And literally the Queen was from here to there, like so close, and the whole family. What was really cool too was they brought in all of their staff, so they had this like amazing dinner. There was only 80 people there, the like direct royal family, and it was their 90th birthday, and yeah, it was like literally all of the staff from the castle that came in and sort of stood at the back of the room and got to watch the show as well, and it was crazy. And then like doing the line after where you get to meet everyone. There's a whole protocol which like nobody explained to me until like 2 minutes before. No. So I'm like, oh, okay, how are we gonna? I gotta remember this.
People get famous for screwing this protocol
up. So that was the thing. So like my whole time I'm like going through it in my head, like, okay, everyone is Your Majesty, and then she's Your Royal Highness, or something like that. I still don't even know. But then Prince Harry came through and was just like such a bro. He was just like, dude, I've seen all your stuff on YouTube. Like, it's so good. And I was like, I'm trying to remember the protocol, and he was just like, it was cool. It was like, that was definitely one of the highlights of my career for sure. Like to work your whole life to do something, you know, just to make it a career, you know, turn your passion into a career, and then to like find myself in that particular circumstance, it was mind-blowing to me, and it was one of those things that I'll never forget.
You're billed as the Grand Illusionist. You do all kinds of big tricks, small tricks. I mean, you've done it all in your lifetime. We lost a master of something that is a bit of a passion for you, of sleight of hand, Ricky Jay, just last week. What did he do for the craft of magic and for the community of magicians?
It's unprecedented. He was a pioneer. What he added to the craft and to the art form, and everything he contributed, I feel like you can't really even put it in words. Like he added so much, and he was such a legend that you know, he'll be greatly missed. Everything he contributed was remarkable, and he'll be one of those guys that you'll hear his name spoken forever. Well, in honor of Ricky, can we finish with a card trick?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do something quick.
Got a deck, just take them, mix them up, shuffle them up,
all right.
Make sure it's normal.
Yep. It's a regular deck.
Do you know any tricks yourself?
Very few.
Okay, good.
I used to impress my kids. Yeah, this will go really well. Just keep me in charge of it. You see how well the shuffling's going so far.
Yeah,
all right,
they're
good and mixed up.
Whenever you're satisfied with that, just reach and pull one out, just so you know I'm not making you pick one or anything like that.
All right, I have pulled this at random.
You got one? Perfect. I'll take the deck back. Okay. Have a look at it. Memorize it. Show it to the camera here.
All right.
I won't look. That was fair, right? You shuffled them.
Absolutely.
Do you want to pick another one?
100%.
You happy with that?
No,
one?
I'm happy with this.
Cool. Just go ahead and just pop it back right there.
Okay.
So you mixed up the cards, right?
Yeah.
You could have selected any one.
Correct.
You chose that one in particular. So I was doing this on a group of kids the other night that had a few drinks, right? And one of the kids was like, "Let me shuffle those cards." So I said, "All right." I handed him the deck. He took some of them, put them face down, some of them face up, some of them face down with the whole deck, right? Messed up the whole thing. Handed it back to me. Said, "Here you go, do your job." And I looked at them. Some of them were face down, some of them were face up, some of them were face to face. So we had backs to fronts, fronts to backs. The deck was a mess, but didn't matter, because all I had to do was give the deck a little shake, like that, and his card, your card, went to the bottom, the 7 of diamonds.
No.
Wasn't the 7 of diamonds?
Wasn't 7.
Just hold on to it just like that. It was fine, though, because all we had to do was go back in time to the beginning of the trick, where all of the cards were back to normal. And you had pulled out. Take a look.
There it is, folks.
There you go.
All right, and you'll never tell me how you did it.
After a few drinks, I might.
Is that right? All right. All right, I'm going to take him up on that. So next week, it is Magic Exposed. All right, well, that was fantastic.
Thanks
Darcy Oake, The Illusionists, Magic of the Holidays runs at Broadway's Marquee Theater through December 30th. Darcy Oake, thank you.
Thanks.